All right, hello everyone, this is Mr. Crozier. I'm going to go over 3 of the problems for homework for you today. Number 18, our job is to come up with the equation and graph the ellipse. So here we go. Number 1, it tells us what the vertices are, and I have them graphed here, 0, 8, and -8. And we know the vertices go through the major axis. So we know it's going to be shaped like this where it's standing on its end. It's going to be tall and skinny this way. All right, so what information do we have? Well, once I do that, if this is the major axis, well, right in between them definitely has to be the center. So the center is there, and that center is 0, 0. So I can come out here, and I know immediately that I can write this for my equation. X squared plus y squared equals 1. And I also know this major axis is along the y-axis, and I know it's 8, so I can put right here 8 squared. However, I don't know this one, and since this one's going to be smaller, it's the b value. So we have 8, and then we don't know the rest. But they do give us this other clue, and that's what you want to focus on. We focused on this clue, and it's done. Now we're going to focus on this clue. Well, what does this clue mean? This clue means that this is a point. So I take the x value, and I'm going to plug it there, which is 9 over b squared. And I'm going to take the y value, which is 16 over 64 is equal to 1. And now by plugging in that point, I have an equation that can be solved for b. So I'm going to go ahead and do this and multiply it by 64b squared, which is the common denominator. And multiplying this times this gives me 576. The b's will cancel out. Multiplying this by this, the 64s will cancel out. And this times this is 64. Now what that has done is that's given me an equation with just b squared in it and no fractions in it, so it's a lot easier here. So then now what I can do is go ahead and finish solving for b, and I can subtract those over, and that would be what, 48b squared, and that's 576. Whoops, 576. And so b squared is equal to 12. That can go here, and now this equation is done. I will clean it up one way. I will go ahead and come out here and write x squared over 12 plus y squared over 64 is equal to 1. I will clean it up that way and be done with it. And now I can graph this. Well, I already have this, but I don't know how far to go side to side. Well, it's the square root of 64 gives me the 8. So now the square root of 12 gives me 3.4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 0.4, 1, 2, 3, and then 0.4. And this makes my ellipse here. And this is 3.4. And 8. 8, the square root here is 8, and the square root there is 3.4. And there's my ellipse. All right, let's go down to 24. 24, same kind of setup. I'm just trying to look for this equation however I can. And they give me the foci, and I do those with an x. And if I come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, I do that with an x there, and that's 4. Now up here we didn't do the foci. We could figure them out if we need to, but we don't need to, but they are in there somewhere. All right, if these are my foci, well, my center is right in the middle. So there we have it. There's our center. And the center is 2, 0. So that is x minus 2 squared, and the y has nothing. So where do I go from here now? Well, we use this clue. Let's use this clue. It says a major length of 6. So we go 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This axis right here, if I were to highlight it here, this axis is 6. Yes, so 3 and 3. I'm going to take that 3 and I'm going to put it right here. This is 3 squared. But now again, I don't know how tall it is. But I do know that that c value is 2 and the a value is 3. And the formula is a squared minus b squared is c squared. A squared is 9 minus B squared, C squared is 4, B squared equals 5. So there's my equation because that's B squared. Now I'm going to clean this up and put this is 9. And then that's 9. I just cleaned that up and that's 5. But now if I want to graph this, I hit square root of 5, and that's 2.2. So this one, the B value here is 2.2. The A value there is 3, so I'm going to go up 2.2. 1, 2.2. Down 2.2, 1, 2.2. And there's my ellipse. It's kind of tough to do, but make it circular. And finally, the last one. First thing they tell me is a center. Well, how nice is that? As soon as they tell me the center, I immediately it is x minus 3 squared, y minus 2 squared, and then now I can go here and work with the foci. This is 1, 2, and 5, 2. It are those 2 points right there. So the center is there. The question is, where do I go from here? Well, I can see that C is equal to 2. You can see it right there. And now I use this formula right here. So 3 times C. So that's A is equal to 6. I'm going to go ahead and draw that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to put that A value there on the x-axis. Now the question is, well, what about B? Well, B is found with how we always do with this formula right here. A squared is 36 minus B squared, and C squared is 4. So B squared is 32, so that 32 goes there. B squared is 32, A squared is 6 squared. I might as well clean that up and put 36 there. And now how do I graph that again? I can't, that's not 32, it's a square root of 32, it's 5.6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.6. And then try to draw it. It is a curved, like a circle, not a diamond. And then you can graph it. All right, hope this helps. Again, at the end of the day, equations to graphs, and that's it.